Hey, so I wanted to further illustrate the point that not accidentally missing workers is really cutting into your army size as well as your income. So I basically just mimicked your build. I did it exactly the same general build as you did. The only difference is that throughout the game, I made sure to keep 3 to 5 dudes queued up in my command centers all the time. So this is me mimicking your build against nobody. And you're going to notice as we fast forward through here that just the only difference between what you did and what I did is that I keep 3 dudes queued up at my command center. Obviously, I got to make my orbital, so in the very, very beginning, I'm not going to do that. But after that, mostly going to keep 3 dudes queued up most all the time. Another big difference is I'm going to build the command center on the low ground. The whole point of the Hellion opener is to allow you to build the command center on the low ground so you don't have to spend time floating it. But just general... that's the difference. So I'm going to send you the replay, and you can copy the build order if you want, but I didn't really use a specific build order. I just said to myself, I'm going to keep 6 dudes queued up all the time, and then I'm going to add factories as I have the money for them, and then I'm going to add engineering bay and armory at around 9 minutes. I'm going to get turrets at 10 minutes. I'm going to constantly produce tanks until I think I need Thors, then I'm going to constantly produce Thors from then on. So this down here, this 6 SCVs queued up the whole time, this is the primary difference between our builds. We both just said, I'm going to wing it, and made some factories and some units out of our factories. But the primary difference is that I got 69 workers by 13 minutes, and I got 200 unit space by 14 and a half minutes. And at 14 and a half minutes, you did not have anywhere near 200 unit space because you only had 40 workers, which is way less, and you didn't have the money to make the army that you wished that you could have. So I plotted it all out where I went to 14 minutes and come on. Pause. Hit I and just wrote down the number of workers I had. Then hit S, wrote down the amount of money I'd spent on on army, and then counted the turrets towards that army size, and counted the upgrades towards that army size, and counted siege mode towards that upgrade size. And then I went back to 13 minutes and did it again. Wrote down the number of workers, wrote down the amount of army. So the big difference here is when I hit I and it shows me my income. Look at this. This is what you should be shooting for in every TV anything, unless you're one base rushing. By about 12 or 13 minutes, you want to have 3 bases with about 69 workers, and that adds up to more than $3,000 of income. So you can see 2,500 minerals, 700 gas, that's $3,200 of income. That's the standard Terran income. You want to get to 3 base, $3,000 of income, and then add a 4th base as your first base mines out, and then add a 5th base as your second base mines out, and so on and so forth. So you always want to have a $3,000 a minute income, and in all of your games, you tended to average, $1,500, $1,600 income, and that's a big problem. So here are the graphs that I made. Basically, like I said, I just put in the number of workers. So you had 19 at 5 minutes, I had 21 at 5 minutes, you had 21 at 6 minutes, I had 24 at 12 minutes, I had 59, and you had 41. It became a much bigger, more pronounced difference as time went on. So you'll notice in your game, you got attacked by mutas at 12 minutes, but until 12 minutes, nothing had happened. The Zerg hadn't even scouted you, let alone attacked you. Nothing had happened to mess up your macro, and yet my income is 2,600 per minute, and your income is 1,800 per minute. My army size is 5,200 per minute, and yours is only 3,200 per minute. So I already have almost double your army size, almost double, no, not almost double your income, but about 30% more income than you at 12 minutes, and neither of us has been pressured in any way. The only difference is that I'm keeping 6 SCVs queued up all the time instead of 1. So here are the cute little graphs. This is workers over time. You can see it's like you've already missed workers at 5 minutes, and you're never going to catch up. And this is army. My army is a little bit bigger at most times. It's a little tiny bit smaller right there. You're going to notice that by queuing up extra workers, you're going to get your factories a tiny bit later, and you're going to have a tiny bit smaller army in the first 5 minutes and maybe the first 6 minutes. But eventually it's going to pay off so huge that it's totally worth it. So this blue line is my army, and this blue line is my workers and all that kind of stuff. So I want to see if it shows me. No, it doesn't allow you to see match history. I'm in offline mode because BattleNet is not responding right now. So anyway, just to prove that the numbers I wrote down aren't crazy sauce, let's go look at your replay one last time. And I wish that I could instantly transport myself to the end of the replay, but I have to 8 exit. That's the rules, man. That's the rules. So we're just going to keep an eye on the income. So remember, let's say we're going to shoot at 6 minutes. I had a $1,000 income. At 8 minutes, I have $1,400. At 10 minutes, I got $1,900, right? So at 6 minutes, we're looking for 1,000. Dun, 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 dun. Do 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 do, blah 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 blah. So it's 6 minutes, and you have 800 minerals and 100 gas, which is a $900 income. So you're already $200 a minute behind where you want to be. But it's going to become much more pronounced when you don't make this CC on the low ground and don't float it down very quickly, and are really short on workers. And but also you saved up and dropped 2 mules at a time, so that might offset the fact. That's going to throw off the income number. So we'll wait till those guys expire and you throw down a new one. Anyway, there we go. So now you got 2 mules at a time instead of, no, you still got 3 mules going at a time. Very weird. So your income is 1,400 maybe, not including the extra mule at 10 minutes. So just like we thought, I wrote down before, $1,400 of income at 10 minutes, and I have 2,000. So very significantly higher income at this point. And just the further into the game we go, the more and more you're going to fall behind. So at 12 minutes, right when you get attacked by the mutas, this is, I'd say, when it stops becoming fair to look at your benchmark. So right around 12 minutes. And we can just compare. At 12 minutes, your army size was 2750 with no siege mode, no +1, no turrets. So it's exactly 2750 with no exception. 2750, that's yours here. It looks like I added 300 for some reason. I guess you're about to throw down 2 turrets because the mutas are going to hit you or something. So you have about $3,000 of army in at this point in the game. I had about 5,000. I have about 2,800 income, and you have, as we can see, 1,700. So significantly less. You've got about $800 a minute less income at this point in the game than I do. And it's just because of missed workers. It's just because you're not keeping these command centers constantly rolling. Because you made 5 factories, I made 5 factories. You made tanks and Hellions, I made tanks and Hellions. You know, you got +1 upgraded around 12 minutes, I got +1 upgrade around 12 minutes. I copied your build exactly, and the only difference is the number of workers we got. And just compare what it looks like in your base right now to what it looked like in mine. Fully saturated both bases in mine. In yours, there's only 7 workers down here. So really try this. Try it in every game you play. You should never cut workers. You should always have all the way up to 3 workers queued up. I know it makes you feel like you're wasting money queuing up workers, but it will pay off. The longer the game goes, the more it will pay off. So never try to just have 1 worker queued up. Always have 6 or a billion or whatever. So that's all I got to say there. Bye.